What's up, Bears fans? We are back in the saddle. My name is Harrison Graham, and you are watching Chicago Bears Now. I am back from vacation. Put out a new video for you guys yesterday, and after a week off from live shows, we are back in our normal Tuesday time slot, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central Time. Appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat already. Shout out your city. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm having to rock the College World Series polo because the boys are playing, so that's why I'm rocking the purple today. Shout out your city. Get some shout-outs going here. Let's see here. My computer's being kind of weird. Okay, here we go. We got Rennell in Clarksville. We've got Wyatt in Chicago. Wyatt is back. Rolly's here, Wyatt. He is here. He is ready to go.
I am here having the time of my life. If you get the reference, you're a legend.
Yes. Cave in Rockford, Illinois. We got Dylan in Wheaton. We've got Deer Park from Lovey, Markel in H-Town. What's up? We got James in Denver, Colorado. Let's see. Elkhart, Indiana from Rod. Bedford, Texas in the chat. Let's see. Dayton, Ohio from the Gabe. Tyler Johnson from Zompton. Bear Down from Bear, Delaware. What's up? Boomtown, Missouri from former Bears head coach Matthew Nagy. Andres in Arlington Heights. We got Clark Bar in Compton, California. Michael in Wooddale, Illinois. Monticello, Indiana. Detroit versus everybody. It's Don Burr hanging out. JF1 is him. In Makins, we got Bear Down from Helena, Montana. Shout out to Yellowstone. Scott Peters in Tennessee. Graham Rogers in McHenry. Ed Barrett saying Bear Down as well. All right, our live poll question today, and if it's not, this needs to be over. Over under 3,000 passing yards for Justin Fields this year. Assuming he stays healthy, the passing should go up and the rushing should go down a little bit. He's still going to run a lot, obviously. You don't want to take that out of his game, but if he throws for like 3,300 yards and rushes for 800, like 4,000 all-purpose, I think that would be a pretty damn good season for him if he's able to pull that up. So over or under 3,000 yards passing this year. Darnell Mooney says over. Well, that's more yards for you, my friend. Clark Bar says over. Big over from Clark Bar. Let's see. Terry says Bear Down. Dylan saying over. We got Denise saying over. Timeless saying over. Dylan going over as well. Wyatt says I've been gone a while. Hey, man, I was on vacation last week. It's all good. Dustin says way over. JF1 says over. Terry Baird says over easy. It should be over with the additions that the Bears have made, but we'll just see how it all ends up shaking out. Oscar says over. Larry says over. Chris Ashford says over. Wyatt says I tuned in when Rolly got mad when the Heat lost. Do you remember that, Rolly?
Wyatt is a mean person who I thought was my friend.
He's not your ally
He's
anymore.
only wanted to see me in pain because he was rooting for the Nuggets.
That's messed up. That's messed up, Wyatt. That's messed up. At least your squad was in the finals, Rolly. That's something. That's something. Lovey says over as well. Wyatt says, what? Oh, goodness. All right, let's get to the next question here. Would you sign Ndamukong Suh? Type S for sign, P for pass. A free agent we haven't really discussed here on Bears Now. What do you think? Would you add a veteran defensive tackle? S for sign, P for pass. Christian says pass. JM says pass. Chris and Dylan say sign. So does Wyatt. Terry and Graham say pass. Larry is passing as well. Daniel, Andres, and Markel are passing. Wyatt says sign. J. Pierre says sign. We've got George Culver, Tyler Johnson saying sign. Dylan Peterson says sign. Dustin is passing. Logan is passing. Douglas says pass. Sign vet minimum. Yeah, I don't think you would pay more than the vet minimum for the 36-year-old, but yeah, it'd be interesting. He's old and toxic. Well, he fit right in with Philadelphia last year. Now they have a veteran group, so probably a better situation for him. But if you wanted to add one more vet defensive tackle, I think Suh could be an intriguing guy to add. If you love the Bears, like this video. Hit that like button. We got almost 200 people watching live and only 42 likes. So let's get those like numbers up. And
we have to hit 100
get it going.
likes.
If we don't get 100 likes, we can't get to the bulk of our show.
Yeah, and every time we make this statement, every Tuesday, it feels like Bears fans respond. So I expect the same thing today, but 50 likes, almost 200 people watching. Those are numbers that I don't like to see. I want to see us at the triple digits at the like margin.
Let's go.
35 away, hit that like button, and then we can start getting into today's show where you guys can learn all about the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors.
Exactly. George Culver has liked it. W stream from Pressure. It'd be even more of a W stream if we hit 200 likes. Or 100 likes. Hell, 200 would be awesome. But I'm not getting greedy here. Let's get to 100. Cyrus says, like before the stream even starts is the play. Exactly. I mean, if you like it before the stream even begins, you're a real one. You are an absolute real one. Dylan has liked it. If you hate the Packers, like it. That's what Larry says. Exactly. FGB, FJL, you guys know the drill on that. 94 likes, so we'll revisit this before we get into the bulk of the show. Let's get to 100 likes, though. There it is, 103. Will Jack Sanborn be a starter this year? And I'm talking about in 3 linebacker sets. Like, obviously, in nickel, it's going to be T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. But will Sanborn be that third guy? Will he be a starting linebacker? Type S for start or type B for backup? What do you guys think? Will he start? Will he be a backup? David says backup. Dylan says starter. Wyatt, is there a mailbag? Yes, there is. Daniel says starter. Clark says starter. James, Terry, Dylan, and Albert. Albert says backup. The other ones say starter. Greg says starter. JMW says starter. Markel says starter. Austin says starter. I do think he'll be that third linebacker. I do. But there could be some competition there. Noah Sewell, Dylan Cole in the mix. So we'll wait and see what happens. Mailbag coming up here in just about 15 minutes or so. So use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions in on the show. If you guys Super Chat, those are the priority questions we will get to, but we'll get to as many hashtag Bears questions as well. But if you want to skip the line, you can do so by donating via Super Chat. So hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Jam-packed show coming up. We got a mailbag. We're going to start with the latest Bears news and rumors. We also are going to take a look at the entire offseason and take a look at the top winners and losers for the Chicago Bears. A busy show on deck. Like the video. Let's get this party started. Chicago Bears Now is presented by Manscaped. Go get the best men's grooming products on the planet with Manscaped and use our promo code BEARS20. That's going to get you 20% off at manscaped.com. Get that smooth sack summer going. It's Manscaped. All right, also follow me on Instagram because I'm publishing several Bears posts per week. I'm really cranking up my IG content, Bears Reels, and updates that are happening around the team. DMs are always open too. Hit me up over there. I'll hit you back. First 10 new followers will get a follow back. And then also, I might bring back some Instagram Lives. I did some of those last offseason. If we get enough momentum going up over there, some new followers, I will do some IG Lives where you guys can call in and get on the show. So at HGramNFL, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram. Okay, let's get going here with the latest Bears rumors. Is a Cole Kmet contract extension in the works? I think it's possible. Bleacher Report named Kmet as the most important extension candidate for Chicago this offseason. And obviously the Bears have several guys who could get an extension, including Darnell Mooney and Jalen Johnson. But they mentioned Kmet for good reason. Here's Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report saying extending tight end Cole Kmet, who will be a free agent in 2024, is the next logical step for Chicago. The 24-year-old emerged as Fields' most reliable target in 2022 and developed chemistry with his quarterback throughout the season. It was a true breakout for Cole Kmet last year. He actually had a few more catches and yards in 2021, but had 0 touchdowns. This past year, 7 touchdowns. He was a really effective red zone guy, reliable, 50 catches on just 69 targets, averaged a career high in terms of yards per catch at 10.9, had a long of 50 as well. So he really had a breakout season and emerged not only as a reliable weapon for Justin Fields and this offense, but as a vocal leader as well. He kind of took on that role also for a team that obviously got rid of a lot of veterans and needed some young guys to step up. Obviously, he's the lead guy in the tight end room. You bring in Robert Tonyan, who's a quality vet as well. We'll see what happens after that. Chase Allen, Jake Tonjes, Does one of those guys, supplant themselves as the third tight end, or do they go get somebody? I still think adding someone there makes sense. But don't forget, Ryan Poles, in his kind of end of the 2022 season press conference, he was asked, who is a cornerstone piece on this team moving forward? Because obviously a 3-14 team, media fans wanted to know who are some guys you like to keep long term. He mentioned Cole Kmet. He went out of his way to say Cole Kmet. So I expect an extension to get done. I quite frankly think it happens before training camp. He wants to be here, Arlington Heights native. The Bears want to keep him here. He's been a good player. He's still ascending. I think it's a no-brainer to get that deal done. So will Cole Kmet get extended before training camp? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think this deal gets done. If I had to bank on anyone getting an extension before camp, I think it's Cole Kmet. I'm going to type my Y for yes, but let me know what you guys think. More Justin Fields hype continuing to surface here this offseason. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reports that from people inside the Bears building, he's been told that Fields is, quote, taking ownership of things within the Bears offense. Here's more from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. He says, the people I've spoken to out of Chicago say that Justin Fields is slinging it this offseason and that he's had a nice command of the Bears offense. He's changing plays at the line of scrimmage and feels good about taking ownership of things. And look, all that stuff is good, right? Second year in the same offense, third year in the NFL. Like, you should feel more comfortable. He should emerge as a guy who can feel comfortable, audible, and changing things at this point. But at the end of the day, at this point in time, Justin Fields is going to be judged on Sundays or the occasional Thursday or Monday when the games happen, right? Like how he performs, if the Bears win or lose, like that's where he's going to be judged. So, we're obviously all still wait and see mode. Am I high on Justin Fields? Yes. Do I think he's going to have a big season? Yeah, I really do. But he's got to go out and do it at the end of the day. Something you should get out and go do is enjoy your summer, and make your summer a smooth sack summer with Manscaped. Listen, it's hot as hell down here in Texas. I know in Chicago it's hot in the summer as well. Clean things up downstairs. You don't want to get gnarly when you're roaming around the city and you get some of that sweat going down the thighs near your sack. Keep things nice and trimmed. You got the Lawnmower 4.0, which is a part of the Performance Package 4.0. Lawnmower keeps your balls nice and trimmed. You get the nose and ear hair trimmer as well. The Weed Whacker 2.0, part of that bundle as well. But I really do want to emphasize the Lawnmower product because listen, it's going to keep your balls nice and smooth. If you're getting frisky at night, that's going to be a good look as well. If you keep things nice and trimmed, you get the wireless charging station for adjustable guards also, and you can use it in the shower as it is water resistant. Promo code BEARS20 for the best men's grooming products on the market. It is Manscaped, manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20, link and code in the description and comments of this video. The next step for Justin Fields beyond just taking command is obviously getting this passing game going, right? Like, we know what he can do is just a pure playmaker. Like, he can escape trouble. He can, scramble drill. He's excellent. But can he make consistent plays with his arm, not only in the pocket, but just in general? That's the next step. That's why you go out and you get a DJ Moore. You go out and draft a Tyler Scott. You bolster your offensive line. I expect a jump in the passing game. Period. End of story. Now, do I think this is going to be a top 10 passing attack in the NFL? Not really, because this team's still built to run the football with Fields as their quarterback and with the running back stable that you have. But that doesn't mean you should be dead last in passing in the NFL either. Like, you need to take a jump. I think Fields will take a jump. I expect that to take place here in 2023. Now, over or under 3,000 passing yards for Fields, which when you really think about it, if he plays all 17 games, that's not like a crazy amount. Like, if you throw for 200 yards a game, that's 3,400 yards. So really, like, we should be thinking 32, 33, 3,400. Like, if he threw for 200 a game and rushed for 50, that would be a monster season. Like, he would throw for 34, 3,500 yards, and he would still rush for over 800, which I think that's very much achievable. Type O for over or U for under. Let me know. Over, under 3,000 passing yards for one Justin Fields. Also, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 68,000 subscribers ASAP, and then, hey, 69K around the corner. Very nice. Let's get there as soon as possible. If you want daily coverage, news, rumors, updates, training camp, wall-to-wall coverage, we'll have you covered for all of that. Don't miss out. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. Let's end the show with a Hard Knocks update. No Hard Knocks for the Bears certainly seems that way. There's a new report coming out that the NFL has moved on from the 4 teams who are quote-unquote eligible for Hard Knocks this year. There's a criteria you have to meet. I think it's not a playoff team the year before, not a first-year coaching staff, and there might be something else as well. But the only 4 teams who reach the typical criteria for Hard Knocks are the Bears, Saints, Jets, and Commanders. And the Bears, Saints, and Jets have all publicly said, we don't want to do it. Now, the NFL and Hard Knocks can pick one of these 4 teams and force them to do it. Apparently, the Commanders would do it, but I guess it sounds like the league isn't that interested in doing the Commanders, or Hard Knocks isn't, which that's not super surprising. Maybe the ownership stuff would be interesting, but from an on-field standpoint, there's not a ton of juicy storylines there. I think the Jets or Bears would be the most intriguing. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers traded the Jets, Sauce Gardner. Bears, being the number 1 pick team in the draft last year, making the moves they did, trying to take a step forward. But George McCaskey doesn't want to be on Hard Knocks for whatever reason, so it is what it is. Mike Florio is the one with this report. He says, I'm told the NFL has moved on to other teams that aren't in that short list of 4 that can be forced to do it. So did want to credit him with the report here. And again, it's sad to me that the Bears don't want it. Look, these teams, these owners, I get it. They want to remain as private as possible, but you get so much good exposure. Like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to be on it, like, other than a competitive thing. But again, like, is showing clips of practice on Hard Knocks going to be the reason you do or do not make the playoffs? I just don't see it that way. But we'll wait and see. I don't think it'll be the Bears based on what we know at this point, but who knows? It's going to be very interesting. A different report said that the Lions have been contacted again. They could go back-to-back, so that would be fascinating. If you do want the Bears on Hard Knocks, type Bear down in the comments. I want to see it. I haven't watched Hard Knocks a ton in recent years. The Lions were pretty interesting last year, but I'd love to see the Bears on. I'd love to see some behind-the-scenes access of where this team is going under this regime led by Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles. So get the Bear Downs going if you agree with me, but unfortunately I don't think it's actually going to happen. And also, follow me on Instagram, like I mentioned, increasing my coverage over there at HGramNFL. I would love to do some Instagram Lives again in the near future. If we get enough followers over there, we'll make it happen at HGramNFL. Go ahead and slide in the DMs too if you have any questions. Shout out to the real ones here, like Sam Lectara. He says, do you slow down at yellow traffic lights before they turn red, or do you speed up and beat them? Speaking of which, give Yannick Ngakoue the money. Yeah, I'd like to sign Ngakoue. Rolly, let's bring you in on this one. I don't think I slow down unless I'm not going through the light. And if it's borderline and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, you definitely do speed up. So it is kind of an oxymoron.
It's kind of like a feel-out situation. Like, you know how people say if you watch basketball, like, the player is just feeling out the game, letting the game come to him? I think it's the same analogy as the yellow lights. You got to feel it. You got to see how the lights come in. You got to see it. When did it turn yellow? Do you think it's going to be a long yellow? Like, you just got to feel it out. It's a process. But I'd say the majority of America probably speeds up when they see a yellow light instead of slowing down. Personally, like I said, I feel it out, but I would lean speed up.
Well, and I think something that's underrated in this discussion is, what is the speed limit on the road of the light?
That's a good answer. That's
like
good.
You know those lights when you're coming off the highway and you're kind of humming?
You're zooming.
You just go. Like
Go sell a brick with a great point. You have to watch the walk lights because that will tend to give you the exact time that you're going to have. So you got to judge. You got to know the speed. It's like I'm going to use another sports analogy. It's like a pro golfer using the wind, the lie, the elevation. Use the calculations to see if you can make it across or not.
Yeah.
Of course, safely. We don't want to go too fast and get in an accident or potentially hit someone if you see someone walking. So, got to be careful.
Appreciate the super chat, Sam. And I love hypotheticals like this. So, if you guys have them, throw them my way, and we'll be sure to have some fun with it. Okay, get the Bear Downs going. Did you guys want Hard Knocks on, or the Bears on Hard Knocks? Go Sell a Brick says Bear Down. Angelo, Dustin, Jaron Thomas. Pressure says it's a distraction. Do you think it's a distraction, Rolly? Like, I'm not going to say it's not at all, but I'd love to go back and look at the history of teams on Hard Knocks and like how they performed that season. Because the Lions had their best year in a long time after being on Hard Knocks.
I do think it could be a distraction, and I understand from the coaching perspective, you don't really want to give an outside look to how you coach, how you motivate your players, because then that will give opponent a potential upper edge. But I don't know. I think I would actually, if I was a player, I'd have fun with it. I mean, just think about that one corner from the Texans way back in the day, Charles James. He became like a fan favorite because of how entertaining he was on Hard Knocks. So as a player, I feel like I'd like it. As a coach, not so much.
Yeah, certainly understand that aspect of it. All right, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Time to get your questions answered on the show. If you have any thoughts about remaining free agents, trades, training camp, the upcoming season, we're here for all of it. So load up those questions and use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get those questions answered on the show. And we will get to as many of them as we possibly can. All right, mailbag coming at you here on Chicago Bears Now. Let's get into it here on the show. What's up, Bears fans? Harrison Graham here with another video, and it is time to answer your questions. So coming up in a few minutes, we'll take your questions, hashtag Bears Super Chat on today's mailbag. But do want to hit a quick topic here. Could Chicago sign Ndamukong Suh, the defensive tackle, the vet, in free agency? He recently, in the last few weeks, said that he does intend to play in 2023. Remember, last year he signed late in the year with Philadelphia and played pretty well for them in a rotation role, but he did make it clear, just like last year, that he does not intend to participate in training camp. So he'll be a guy that would like to sign between camp and week one. Here was the direct quote from the veteran defensive tackle. He said, "I have no desire to be in a training camp. I will come in and watch." So he says he'll sign, just not participate. Give some advice, but when week one happens, I'll be ready to go. You look at his recent seasons here, and he still is a guy who has some on-field value. Sure, he only had 1 sack in 8 games last year, but he actually graded out pretty well for PFF. 6 sacks in the 2 prior seasons as well when he played pretty much full seasons there. So I think he's a guy, as a veteran and as a player who can still produce a little bit, does have some value. You look at his PFF grades from last year. Again, I mean, 64 overall. That's kind of, average to a tick above average. Run defense, he was above average. Pass rush, not as much, but he did have 9 pressures, which is a pretty decent stat, just over a pressure a game there for Ndamukong Suh. Now, the Bears have added a little bit more at that defensive tackle position this offseason. They drafted Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens, also added Travis Bell in the 7th round. But, if a guy like Bell isn't ready to be on a 53, maybe you practice squad him. Suh's your 4th or 5th guy here, provides veteran experience and rotation. If nothing else, he's been on some contending teams in recent years. The Bucs, the Eagles. I think he provides that veteran presence. I get that he, isn't the most well-received guy, you could say. He's had some controversies over the years with his antics on the field, but I do think that he would bring a young team like this some value here in 2023. Now, would you sign Ndamukong Suh? Maybe you don't want to deal with it. Maybe you're like, yeah, I'm good. We'll play some youngsters. Type S for sign, or you can type P for pass. Curious what you guys think in the comments below. S for sign, P for pass. Would you sign Ndamukong Suh? Shout out to Sam Laktara with the Super Chat. All Super Chats get on the show. He says, do you slow down at yellow traffic lights before they turn red, or do you speed up to beat them? Speaking of which, give Ngakoue the bunny. We explored this in between segments, Sam, and I think the red light, yellow light thing, it's very situation-to-situation based. Not all yellow lights are created equal, but in terms of Ngakoue, I know it's like beating a dead horse at this point, but I would sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal and get him in here. Shout out to Wyatt, hashtag Bears. Do you think that we can sign Dalvin Cook? The Bears were interested in him, though. I actually don't think the Bears have shown interest. I know some articles have linked the Bears to him, but the Bears themselves, I have not seen actively show interest. I think he's a scheme fit. I do think he'd be good in this offense, but you have Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman, and you drafted Roschon Johnson. And you have Travis Homer. Like, who is he taking carries from? Like, I think he's better than some of those guys, for sure. But do you want to stunt the growth of Khalil Herbert? I think if you were to sign him, you're basically saying, all right, Deontay Foreman, I know we signed you, but we're going to cut you loose. Will with the Super Chat. Shout out to Will. You going to any games this year, either of you? I got my tickets to the Tampa Bay game. I am in Florida. I'd love to go, but we got to do these watch parties, Will. I think in the future it could be possible to do some watch or to attend some games maybe, but I don't think it'll happen this season. We'll just have to wait and see how it all ends up playing out. Sports updates. How many touchdowns will Robert Tonyan have? He had 12 a few years ago, 2 just last year. So I think, give me 4. Double last year. 4 touchdowns for Tonyan, 300, 400 yards is the number 2 tight end. I think that'd be pretty solid. From Lovie Smith, do you think Terrell Smith, 5th-round rookie corner, can bring anything to the team? Watch some of his tape, and he looks explosive. Probably why Poles is waiting on signing a defensive. Oh, you're talking about the corner Terrell Lewis, or the defensive end Terrell Lewis. Terrell Smith is the corner. If you're talking about the defensive end thing. Yeah, he had a pretty good OTAs in minicamp. Terrell Lewis did, if that's who you're talking about. He could be a sneaky guy that makes the roster, especially if they don't address edge. So we'll see what happens there. But I still think you got to go sign somebody. From F. Marsh, why isn't Justin Houston being discussed more? He played well under Flus in Indy. Is this Wyatt's burner account? I think, we've talked about Justin Houston some, but I think for a couple reasons. He's a little bit older. He's been more of a 3-4 guy for the most of his career, but he wasn't in Indianapolis in 2019 and in 2020. Played in Matt Eberflus's 4-3 scheme, had 19 sacks combined in those 2 seasons. Had a bit of a downtick in 21, but bounced back last year with 9.5 sacks while playing, I think, only 44% of defensive snaps in Baltimore. So I think as a rotation rusher, Houston can still have value. Could give you 5 to 8 sacks here in 2023. I'd sign him right now. I mean, you've got Dom Robb, Trevis Gibson, and you added DeMarcus Walker, but you certainly need more pass rushers, and I think a guy like Justin Houston, even at an advanced age, can still give you some of that pass rush production. All right, if you want the Bears to sign Justin Houston, type me in the comments right now. If you want to see the veteran pass rusher in Chicago, go ahead and type me. Maybe Darnell Mooney wants Justin Houston. He says, what do you rank the wide receiver core from all 32 teams? I mean, on paper, if Mooney and Claypool can get healthy with DJ Moore, I mean, that trio should be top half of the league. I'll just kind of spitball 15 right now. I think it's got potential to be top 10, but we haven't seen all these guys play together. So we got to see how it all looks. But you got a good top 3 on paper. I like the depth pieces in Tyler Scott and Equinemius St. Brown and Velus Jones if Velus can take a step forward. But it just it's all projecting right now because there's established duos and trios that have been doing it for years and years and years. Keem with the super. He says, sup, HG. What's up, man? Hot take, Bears go 10-7. Claypool becomes wide receiver 2, and Mooney gets traded midseason. Also, Roschon Johnson for offensive rookie of the year. Right now it actually sounds like Rojo is kind of a distant RB3 behind Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman. So, maybe he's not going to have quite as big of a role in year 1 as we thought might end up being the case. But as far as 10-7, I could see that. I don't think it's a blazing hot take. It's a mild take. Like that would be a big jump from last year. Claypool wide receiver 2, I could see that happening, but he's got a lot to prove. Midseason trade for Mooney, it's probably the boldest one you got on here. JF1 is him. Who do you think will have the most sacks this year? For the Bears, based on who they currently have, I would say DeMarcus Walker. He had 7 last year for Tennessee. 7 or 8 would probably lead the team this year with what they currently have. So I would say him, but I'm hoping you can add somebody that gets into the mix as well. Henry Forte, what is your expectations for the offensive line this upcoming season? I think this can be a, middle of the NFL O-line as in run blocking situations. So, like 14 to 18, and then pass blocking, give me top 20. If you can do that, I'd be pretty happy. You'd be taking steps in the right direction. You'd still be having a group that's growing together. Like Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, they're all in their 3rd year or less. That group can grow together. Nate Davis, you just signed him to a 3-year deal. So this is a group that should be ascending over the next couple of years. Dylan Peterson, if we sign Yannick, what do you think the contract could look like? Well, I don't think it would be more than a 2-year deal. I think it would be 1 or 2 years at 6 to 9 million per year. He wants 8 to 10 reportedly. Could you get that down to 6 or 7? Maybe. How about this? 2 years, 15 million, 10 million guaranteed. Who says no? I would love that deal. Jordan Martin, who do you think leads the team in interceptions? If Eddie Jackson's fully healthy, probably him. I'll throw in Kyler Gordon as a wild card, though. Jalen Johnson's never been a guy that creates a lot of interceptions. I think he only has 1 in 3 years, but he forces a bunch of incompletions. So I don't think he's just going to all of a sudden jump up and go get 4 or 5. But Gordon had 3 last year despite struggling. So if he can kind of improve overall and still get those takeaways, I could see him getting 4 or 5. Clark Barr, trade Claypool for Chase Young. Chase Young has not played the last 2 years, basically. If I'm getting rookie year Chase Young, yeah, I would do that. But I don't know that, do I? If I knew it was good Chase Young, I would absolutely do that, no doubt. Ben Seaton, would you sign a veteran defensive tackle and a veteran defensive end for mentorship with a young defensive line? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they would sign one at each position. I think if you picked one, it would be defensive end. But yeah, adding like a Sue and then like an Ngakoue or a Justin Houston, that would certainly help both on the field and just with this young group. Sports updates, do we sign Mercedes Lewis? I would be open to that. I think the Bears have a need at that number 3 tight end spot. You've got Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan. We've talked about Lewis a couple of times recently. He knows the offense. He's a good blocker. So, yeah, I would certainly be open to it. Would the Bears, would himself at 38, does he want to join a young Bears team? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he would feel about joining this, but he does have that connection with Luke Getsy, so something you can't ignore. From Dragon, who would win in a 40-yard dash, Harrison or Rowley? Are you willing to prove it in film? Probably Rowley right now. 1, he's in a little bit better of shape than me, and 2, my foot's actually kind of messed up. I'm actually going to go see a doctor soon, so I would say Rowley would win that. Rowley, you care to chime in here? He's trying to get his mic working. Rowley's telling me in my ear that he would smoke me. So
yeah, all right, the mic's finally working. Yeah, you know what? I've been working out. I've been doing pretty good. I'd say I'm in pretty good shape for the first time in about 3 or 4 years. I think I could run a decent number 40-yard dash.
Well, and in classic Harrison fashion, I've been going on a lot of walks in this hot heat with my son recently, and now my foot's fucked up. So
I think I could run a solid O-line 5 number in the 40-yard dash.
I will say this: I ran
burners for a big guy.
Yeah. Same when I was more peak big guy. I ran a 5.1 like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. So for an out of college, out of shape guy, not bad. So if I got back into shape, I could flirt early 5s. I think. Right now with a bad foot though, we're probably looking more mid 5s. So. That's why I'm not rushing the passer for the Chicago Bears. Speaking of which, if you want more coverage, hit that subscribe button because I'm not going to join any athletic team soon. I'm going to be right here bringing you guys the latest updates. That's why you should subscribe to the channel. It is 100% free. If you want the Bears to sign Justin Houston, type me. Do you want him? Do you want him or not? Type me. Rowley's trying to talk to you guys. He's having some trouble.
The unmute button is getting
stuck.
It
Someone spill some Coke over there?
I don't know what's going on, but it wouldn't let me unmute myself.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm intrigued to see how fast I could run a 40. How long is a 40-yard dash in comparisons to miles? Because then I could figure out how fast I could run it.
Why? Your mile time is not relevant to your 40 time. You're not sprinting a mile.
How many 40 yards in a mile? It's up there. So 0.02 is 40 yards. Oh, I could run. If I get moving.
But it's not the same speed conversion. You're not sprinting a mile.
Well, I sprint sometimes during a mile on a treadmill.
Well, yeah, but are you monitoring that speed at that time?
Yeah, I know exactly how fast I'm going. With the treadmill, when you type in like the level, or not level, the speed.
Yeah, I know,
like
but
miles per hour.
But like a 40-yard dash in the middle of your mile is not relevant because it's not going to be your top speed, number one.
Well, yeah, I think it would.
No, no.
Because I when I run a mile on the treadmill, I slowly go up.
Well, but it's also here's why it's also not relevant. A 40-yard dash, you're starting from 0 speed.
Yeah.
So in the middle of a mile, if you're like jogging and then you go into a sprint, well, it's like a head start. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. But I think I could run a mile pretty quickly.
Well, okay. What?
Or not a mile, I meant
40-yard
40-yard dash.
Yeah, I mean, if I got into peak shape, like, and I was fully healthy, my foot wasn't, if I didn't have what I think is plantar fasciitis, I think I could flirt with 5. I haven't been in peak shape in years, though, so it would take a lot to get there.
I actually am more concerned about the get off for
Just
me.
like pulling a hammy right off the get off.
My left knee, I have massive knee tendonitis.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous about being in that bent position, trying to jump off. I think my knee would
The problem, too, is when you're like us and you haven't been, in sports in a while, just randomly, even if you've been training, working out, you don't straight up sprint a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like even if
I play a lot of basketball, so I do sprint quite a bit, get that little fast break moving.
Yeah, but even then, it's still not. You're not going from 0 to sprint like very often. I would assume.
I do it probably
couple times
least
a
2
game?
or 3 times. One of my teammates turned the ball over because I would never sprint back on D. I think that's.
This is a good debate.
It's a good debate. Yeah, it's a healthy debate.
Graham Rogers said he ran a 5:15 mile in high school and a 4:72. That's moving, dude. That's like middle of the pack tight end speed.
Matt St. John says I run a 5-minute mile. Us cross country runners be enjoying this conversation right now.
Yeah, that's impressive. If you're running a mile under 6 minutes, you're moving.
I'll say this, Matt St. John. When I started working out back in March, I was pretty big. I mean, much bigger than I am now.
Have you been weight tracking? Or?
Yeah, this Sunday marked 40 pounds.
Dude, nice.
Yeah, so it's been
a
little bit of a grind for your boy Rolly here. But I was like running a mile at 10 minutes when I first started running, and I already am down to 8 minutes.
I lost, that's pretty good.
I lost 2 minutes on my mile.
Summer year of college, junior, senior year, to that Christmas, first semester of senior year, I lost 70 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've put on at least 50 of it back over the last 7 years.
I'll be honest, there's a picture of me in the first week of January, and it's just tough to look at.
Hey man, we all got things going on. It's a cold world out there. I will say, summer in Texas, good time to lose weight.
Yeah,
even just going on a walk outside, like you're gonna shed calories. So,
Lovey Smith says ran at 4:2:40 in my diaper.
All right, Chris Johnson.
Matt Nagy says too much drinking on this show making Harrison put on weight.
You guys know, like, I don't really, like the guys in the office would attest to, I'm not a huge drinker to begin with. Like, yeah, on watch parties and stuff I'll drink, but I haven't had like a full beer outside of a couple beer bongs in the last couple months. So that's not really the issue, to be honest. It's just finding the time to work out. And really, it's more of a diet, like committing to a good diet. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, that's been my biggest, like...
I've always been a picky eater. I've gotten better as I've gotten older, but that's really the biggest challenge, is
I've really
committing to a good diet.
On what I eat. I borderline eat not enough, but it's all about that grind.
Yeah.
Jaron Thomas asked me personally, are you a PS5 or Xbox fan? So right now I have a PlayStation. I'll say this. I started with an Xbox 360. That was my first ever gaming console besides a Wii. So it's going. I guess I'll go my progression, Jaron Thomas. Started with the Game Boy, then went to the GameCube, then went to the Wii, then went to the Xbox 360, PS4, PS5. That's my progression.
I was starting at the very beginning, N64, because I'm a little older than you.
Yeah.
So you get back there. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced. Regular Xbox, like the first one that came out.
I didn't even know there was a.
It
Xbox.
Honestly sucked. I had a GameCube 2. Then I got 360. Then Xbox One. Then a gaming PC. Also in the midst of all that, Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
And We actually have a what's the new Nintendo right now? Just
the Switch, right?
Switch, yeah. But it's been collecting dust for a couple years.
I'll say this: if you didn't play on the Xbox 360, I know a lot of people like their PlayStation 2s, PlayStation 3s. The Xbox 360 was the most goated gaming console ever.
I also had
PS4 and PS5.
I also had an OG PlayStation 2, or just not a 2, like OG PlayStation, just the first one. But then I switched to Xbox for good. By the way, were you a Pokemon Game Boy?
I was a big time Pokemon guy.
I've brought it back out recently.
I mean, listen.
On this vacation, I was cranking on Pokemon Silver. I'm not gonna lie.
So ready for this? When I moved down here for the job, I brought my Nintendo DS just because I was going to be in the car for 24 hours in the passenger seat. 12 hours.
You probably beat a game in that time, potentially.
I borderline almost beat Pokemon Fire Red on Nintendo DS because I was just grinding borderline 24 hours straight because every minute I was in the car, I was playing Pokemon.
There's nothing better than getting to Professor Oak and picking your starter. It's just...
The question is, who are you picking? Who do you pick?
On the OG, I'm usually a Charmander guy, usually.
I mean, that's clear.
It's Charmander or
Squirtle.
Yeah, if you pick Bulbasaur, you're a cop.
I kind of agree. I don't mind Bulbasaur, but I will say if you pick him over Charmander...
It's just not as good. Yeah, just not as good. Also on I played Ruby a good amount, and I would always pick Chikorita, whatever it turned into Blaziken, because that was easily the goated one on that game. Because he's so fast. Oh, David with the super chat. Just had my son, baby Asher. He wants an FGB onesie. Oh, man. If we could get those in the works. Tell me, type Y for yes, N for no. If we could get some FGB onesies going, would you buy them? Y for yes, N for no. The problem is we got to have enough babies out there to sell them to. But if we got enough yeses, maybe that could get in the works. What you could do, David, is just buy the smallest FGB T-shirt, chatsports.com/FGB, and it's like a little gown. No big deal. He'll grow into it. So RDA says I would get one, and I don't even have a child. Love to see it. A lot of yeses coming in. I could get PJ one too. So that could be something that's in the works, Sam. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And then he also said this. L4D2 on Xbox 360 is goated. What's L4? What am I missing?
I'm pretty sure that's Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, Left 4 Dead 2.
I didn't
play Left 4 Dead.
I never did either, but I'm pretty confident.
I was pretty much sports games and then Call of Duty and Halo. That was
it. I played Call of Duty.
I didn't get to the edgy shooting. I never played what was almost the cartoon? I played Fortnite when that came out, but what was the cartoon, Borderlands and stuff like that? I never played that.
I just remember
played Minecraft.
I just remember playing two games specifically on Xbox 360. NCAA basketball, was it 08?
Was that
whenever Blake Griffin was on the cover.
I think that was 09, actually.
That was the last one. And then NCAA football 2014. I know it's sports games. But NCAA basketball and NCAA football, two most goated games in history.
Yeah, I'm a big NCAA football guy. All right, I enjoyed that tangent, guys. That was good stuff. Trip down memory lane. I'll tell you what, if NCAA football ever actually comes back out, we might have to start a Bears Now Online Dynasty because that could be absolutely electric. All right, final segment to go. We're going to take a look at some Bears offseason winners and losers. Let's wrap up the show with that. You're watching Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. Coming up on today's show, 2023 Chicago Bears offseason winners and losers. Who are some guys that benefited, performed well this offseason? Who are some guys on the other end of the spectrum? We'll break it down here on today's show. Let's start with a winner here. That is one Justin Fields, the Bears quarterback, for a variety of reasons. One, according to reports, he's just taken more command of the offense. He looks more comfortable. The on-field stuff is taking a step in the right direction. But he's also a winner because of what Ryan Poles did this offseason by adding all these pieces on offense. You get a true number one alpha male wide receiver in DJ Moore. You add a complementary piece in the draft in Tyler Scott. Sure, you lose David Montgomery, but you respond by signing Deontay Foreman for cheap. even though he had a big year last year. You draft Roschon Johnson. You add Travis Homer, who could have some value in the passing game. Robert Tonyan, a good red zone tight end. You commit $30 million to Nate Davis, and then with your first-round pick after trading down in the DJ Moore trade, you get a right tackle in Darnell Wright. And I think with DJ Moore specifically, because he's going to be the guy who has the big impact here, right, out of all these additions. Ryan Poles trading for DJ Moore, in my opinion, will change the trajectory of this franchise. Not just the offense, not just Justin Fields, but the franchise. The Bears have not had a receiver of this caliber since Brandon Marshall. And in today's NFL, you got to have the quarterback and you got to have a big-time wide receiver, and they've got that in DJ Moore. And if Fields can lift up his level of play because of a guy like DJ Moore, I think that's going to go a very, very long way. And by the way, just on top of all of that, no one has a stronger visor game right now in the NFL. I mean, no one's looking this swaggy at OTAs and minicamp. I mean, he's rocking the blue, the orange visor. Just a great look for QB1. So exciting times in Chicago. He looks the part on the field. The swag's looking the part. So if Justin Fields can really take off here, this franchise is going to be in a good spot. Now, I think you guys know the answer. A little trivia, a little math. You guys know the answer, right? What does 1 + 2 equal? I'm going to let you guys answer it in the chat. 1 + 2 equals what? Better get the right answer because there is only one right answer. You guys went to math class, right? 1 + 2, what does it equal? Let me know in the chat. By the way, I'm seeing some right answers and some wrong answers so far. Lucas Patrick is a loser of this offseason, not because he's not going to make the team. I think he will. But considering he signed to be this team's center last offseason, a 2-year deal. Last year he gets hurt, plays some guard with a broken hand, and then finally gets healthy, plays center, gets hurt again for the season. So misses most of last year. Then this year, they let Sam Mustipher walk, but the Bears have decided Cody Whitehair is going to be plugged in as the starting center, which means Lucas Patrick is plugged in as the backup at this point in time. I do think that's pretty clear at this point. Cody Whitehair will start. Now, is there a scenario where Patrick could get an opportunity in training camp to win that job? Maybe, but all indications so far, it feels like Cody Whitehair is that guy and he's going to be that starter, which is why we have to include him as a winner, right? Like, if Lucas Patrick is, somewhat getting demoted here, Cody Whitehair is somewhat getting promoted, even though he's been a starter at left guard the last several years. But he's a clear winner here because the Bears could have cut Cody Whitehair as a post-June 1 cut candidate and saved almost $10 million. He has not played that great the last couple of years, but they value him in the locker room. They value him to a point where, hey, we believe in you. We're going to make you our center and not clear that cap space, and you're going to go back to a position you played several years ago. So that makes him a clear winner. He gets to stick around. He's not losing out on any money, and he's still going to start on this offensive line. So Lucas Patrick on the tough end of that, but Cody Whitehair on the winning end of that when it comes to the center position. Now, bear down and subscribe to the channel. If we can get to 68,000 subscribers by training camp, that would make me feel awesome. Help us out. Let's get there. We're 706 away. We got, 5 weeks? That's just about 150 subs a week over the next 5 weeks or so. I think we can get there, right? Spread the word. Tell the friends, say, hey, Bears, big season coming up. If you want daily coverage, go subscribe to Bears Now by Chat Sports. Send them the link. We got you guys covered with daily coverage. Jack Sanborn is a loser this offseason, not because of his play. He's actually been dinged up. He hasn't been able to compete that much, but because the Bears added these two guys, right? TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, the number 5 and 6 ranked linebackers per PFF this past season. 2 really good off-ball guys. So those are clearly your top 2 linebackers, whereas Sanborn ended last year as your top guy. But the good news for Sanborn is I still think he is in line to be a starter at that Sam linebacker spot. Edmonds going to roam the middle. You got TJ Edwards at the will linebacker spot. If Sanborn is healthy by training camp, which he should be, and can hold it down, he should get to start. But the Bears invested heavily at off-ball linebacker. They give Tremaine Edmonds $72 million. They give TJ Edwards a 3-year deal. They bring on Dylan Cole, a veteran. They draft Noah Sewell in the 5th round. I mean, you went from this being one of your worst position groups to your best. So as a whole, it's a win for the Bears. But for Sanborn specifically, yeah, like he's going to have a lesser role than last year, but still should have an opportunity to play a good amount. Now, will Jack Sanborn be a starter? And I'm talking about in 3 linebacker sets. He's not going to beat out Edmonds or Edwards. That's obvious. But will he be that third starting linebacker? I think he will, so I'm going to type S for start. If you think he'll be a backup, type B for backup. Curious what you guys think. Maybe you think Noah Sewell will start. Let us know in the comments. Another loser here, Velus Jones Jr., inconsistent play this offseason, had some drops again, so, big training camp for him coming up. But I think more importantly than any of that, you add Tyler Scott to the mix. You bring back Dante Pettis, who's going to push for a roster spot. Equinemius St. Brown's back in the fold. And the fact that Darnell Mooney has not been available in any of the offseason stuff, and Chase Claypool, after the first week of OTAs, missed the next 2 weeks of OTAs and minicamp, and we still didn't hear a ton about Velus Jones making a lot of plays. Not great, right? Because he certainly would have had some opportunities there. He made some plays, no doubt about it, but he's got a lot to prove. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. It was a disappointing rookie season for him. He had issues as the punt returner, which is why Pettis had to replace him in that role, and which is why I think Pettis is back to push him in that role again. So, listen, it is not a given that Velus Jones makes this football team. I hope he does. I'm pulling for him, but this franchise added a lot of receivers to the mix, and that's going to make the competition that much stiffer. One guy who's not going anywhere anytime soon is DJ Moore. We've got some DJ Moore jerseys available at chatsports.com/DJ, men's jerseys, women's jerseys as well. If you want to get your wife, your daughter, your girlfriend a jersey, we've got a few of those out there also. Chatsports.com/DJ, that link in the comments and in the description. Pick up a DJ Moore jerseys today. Remember, what's the answer? 1 + 2 = what? I expect the right answers in the comments below. Okay, speaking of one DJ Moore, he is a winner. We kind of already hit him during the Justin Fields part, but like Justin Fields, strong visor game. So, when you're bringing the swag, that's a very good thing. But he's going to be a stud. I mean, Justin Fields even admitted he was surprised how quickly him and DJ Moore got in sync and built that chemistry. I mean, they only traded for him a couple months ago. And that JF1 to DJ Moore chemistry has already been built very, very quickly. And the reason they brought him in here is because you need that true number one receiver to be a contender in today's NFL. He's cost-controlled over the next 3 years under contract. He's been a number one in bad offenses in the past, and you're hoping he can be a number one in a good offense here. And so far, so good for the biggest addition for most teams, I would say, this offseason. How about another winner? Rare rookie making it in our offseason winners and losers. Tyrique Stevenson, the rookie quarterback out of Miami. I loved this pick at the time. I mocked him to the Bears a few times leading up to the NFL draft. And the reports out of OTAs and minicamp have been pretty glowing for the rookie corner. Their secondary coach said that he's picking up scheme quick, which that's a good sign for rookies. A lot of rookies come in and you see the athleticism, you see the traits, but it takes time to pick up scheme. Well, Stevenson's picked that up quick, according to Bears secondary coach, so that's a positive. And by all accounts, it looks like he's going to be that second outside starting corner opposite of Jalen Johnson, with Kyler Gordon manning the nickel. So that's a really positive development. I thought that would be the case coming out of the draft, but you thought it might take a little bit longer, but he's kind of already in there as that starting corner. So that's very, very exciting. A loser, Bears pass rush. Not because the guys who are out there aren't showing much. It's hard to evaluate offensive and defensive linemen until the pads come on at training camp, but they haven't added an elite or even another good pass rusher since DeMarcus Walker. This is a position where you need to get better at. Unless you just think Dominique Robinson or Travis Gibson are going to take this huge jump, you got to get someone else in there. You need another edge. I could recycle the names over and over and over. You guys know who they are at this point, but you got to get one of them in here. I still think that happens between now and training camp, or maybe even during training camp, but it's got to happen soon, in my opinion. Now, name an edge the Bears should go out and sign. You know the suspects. Let me know, who should the Bears go sign to rush the passer? Drop a name in the comments section. Couple more here. Another loser, Larry Borom, for a couple reasons. One, obviously, you draft Darnell Wright, which I think it was pretty obvious they were going to draft a tackle. I don't think that's the main reason, but that's a reason, right? Once they draft him, it's like, okay, I'm not a starter at this point. And then Matt Eberflus doubles down at the end of minicamp and said, it's a big summer coming up for Larry Borom, basically kind of calling him out like, hey, man, you're in year 3 here, year 2 in this offense, like talking about guys getting into proper shape. That tells me Borom might not be in the best of shape right now. Like, he's got to earn a roster spot. Matt Eberflus said that swing tackle spot is still up for grabs. Is it going to be Borom? Is it going to be Leatherwood? Keep an eye on a vet. Like, I do think the Bears could bring someone in on this offensive line to be that swing tackle, because I don't know if I trust Leatherwood or Borom, and I don't think you really have anyone else who could take that job, at least at the tackle position. So that is something to monitor in free agency as well. And then one more winner here, Jaquan Brisker, the rookie or second-year safety coming off his rookie year, which he was pretty honest and said he didn't think he had that good of a rookie year. I actually thought it was pretty solid, but he came out and said, yeah, I think I left a lot of plays on the table, and he certainly started out fast and hit a bit of a rookie wall. He had a concussion, which was a setback. He admitted that was a dark time he had to go through. It was a pretty serious concussion, it sounded like, but I think he's ready for takeoff. He's a clear leader on this team when you listen to him talk, and he's a guy who can create turnovers both in coverage and in run support. So I think he's going to have a big year, and if he does, this secondary could be awesome. I mean, Eddie Jackson's a great free safety. You've got Jalen Johnson. You hope Kyler Gordon takes that step, and if Tyrique Stevenson continues to progress, this could be one of the strongest position groups on this team. Now, who is the biggest winner of the Bears this offseason? Maybe you just want to say Ryan Poles or Flus or another player that I left out. Biggest winner for the Bears is who? I think it's Justin Fields. When you trade for DJ Moore, that's commitment, in my opinion. All right, guys, appreciate all of the love and support. Like I said, I'm back in the saddle after my vacation. If you want more videos to come, hit that subscribe button, bear down, and we'll see you soon. Okay, before we get out of here, biggest winner. Clark says Fields. Chris says Fields. Michael says Fields. Daryl and Jaron saying Fields as well. Also, we got to answer the first question. What does 1 + 2 equal? I saw some good answers. I saw some bad answers. We'll let you guys get a couple more questions in. 1 + 2. I saw people say 3. Not in this case. Not in this case.
Matt Nagy is a good troll.
What did Matt Nagy say?
He said 1 + 2 equals a top 5 pick.
That's actually pretty good. It's 6. JF1, DJ Moore 2. Touchdowns. Let's get it. 6 is the end. Ron says 4. How would it equal 4?
Are we
a lot of 6s.
in a loop?
Nah, we can wrap.
Okay.
Arizona says 6. JF says 6. Big Boss says 6. Rudy says 6. 1 + 2 equals 10 and 7. I like that answer. Good answer. Good answer, as Rolly would say. Brendan says 8. So touchdown plus 2-point conversion. Okay. 1 + 2 equals multiple 6s. So, hey man, I hope it's a big year for Fields and Moore. Potential's there, but potential's just potential. Got to go out and prove it. All right, we're gonna wrap things up here. Shout out to producer Rolly for getting back in the saddle with me this week as well. Shout out to all of you for listening. By the way, just quick plug, NBA draft coverage live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. You're going to see me helping anchor that coverage. Rolly's going to be involved in our coverage as well. Any quick thoughts, Rolly, on the NBA draft? Maybe a bold prediction in there if his
Yep, we're back.
mic works?
Yeah, I got some bold predictions I can go out and say.
All right, throw a couple at me.
Listen, I do got to ask you this. Am I predicting on actual draft night, or am I predicting something, or just the players post-draft, in their careers?
Anything, any of this works.
All right, well, I've got 2 things for you. I'll go number 1. Brandon Miller will have a better career than Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, you've been consistent
I'm sticking
on
with that.
Okay.
And I'm going to continue to stick with that.
I disagree, but I like the boldness.
2, the New York Knicks are going to trade into the first round in the late 20s.
Okay.
To try to draft pick. I think they might try to move Obi Toppin for a late first-round pick. I know the rumor was thrown out there today, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. So I think the New York Knicks trade into the late 20s for a draft pick. I'll throw in some Chicago Bulls rumors.
Do they get into the draft?
Do they get into the draft? I imagine they get into the draft at some point, maybe late second, maybe late first too. I know they're potentially shopping Zach LaVine. Can they trade LaVine for an early first-round pick in this draft? Maybe. I know our good friend Patrick Seatman of the Bulls Report has been clamoring for Scoot Henderson, trade with the Blazers for the number 3 pick and Zach LaVine. We'll see. Other than that, I don't really think there's anything too bold. I do think the Brooklyn Nets trade up as well. They have 2 first-round picks, 21 and 22, a couple veterans they could piece with a pick to move up in the draft.
So when I'm looking at some teams in the 20s that, the Knicks or another team could trade with, like, who are you looking at here? One of those Pacers picks maybe? Or are you looking at, like,
the Pacers
Memphis at 25, maybe a team?
Pacers have multiple first-round picks, so they can get traded. I believe I think the Pacers actually have 3 first-round picks, so I bet they'd be willing to move off one of them.
Would the Clippers take Obi Toppin for 30, try and just get a somewhat proven role player to try as they're trying to win
Obi
this year?
Toppin, the former 8th overall pick in the draft, hasn't really been able to explode. And I mentioned Indiana because they pick at 7, 26, and 29. It is very rare in the NBA for a team to have 3 first-round picks and for them to make every single pick. Now, is it the Knicks who trade up there? I don't know, but I imagine Indiana Pacers will not be selecting at pick 7, 26, and 29. It just doesn't happen in the NBA. Another team, maybe Sacramento, could use a big off the bench. Maybe Obi Toppin goes for that 24th pick.
Would you? You think he'd go for 24?
I think it's aggressive, but I know some teams might look at him and say, "Hey, former 8th overall pick,
some
can knock
untapped
down
potential.
some threes. He's athletic."
Yeah.
Maybe a chance.
All right. We'll be live on our main Chat Sports channel this Thursday night. Join us, myself, Rolly, Chase Sr., the whole squad. We'll be there. So I'll see you guys live once again then. More Bears videos to come here on this channel, obviously, throughout the week. So until then, bear down and